Hello and welcome to The Big Fight, a show that is not 23 years old but young at 23. Because this is the oldest running debate show on Indian news television. I am Sanket Upadhyay. You see, yet another debate on opposition unity, yet another debate on their fighting chance against the BJP. But something very interesting happened last week. UPA went out. That is a United Progressive Alliance, that name went out, and Opposition Unity, which is 26 members strong now from their 17, adopted a new name called I.N.D.I.A, Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance. And the catch line was, Badlega Bharat, Jeetega India. But the big question is, with an NDA which numerically has tried to outperform this India alliance by adding 39 alliance partners. The criticism is that many of those alliance partners have no representation at all, and yet this number, numerically, it has been swollen to become 39 strong. Is it just going to be a BJP show along with these little formations? And can the opposition rid themselves of the little problems that we have seen, we are all too familiar with? Ego battles, seat distribution issues, who goes where, and how traditionally opposition unity has fizzled out. Will those problems be overcome in future meetings? This contest has gotten better between the BJP and the Congress in the form of their respective alliances, India and NDA. Does this opposition alliance have a big chance of winning 2024? What do you think? Can they do it? Let's kickstart the big fight. Let me introduce our guest in the studio. Ms. Aditi Fadnis is a consulting editor of the Business Standard. Thank you very much for joining us. Shama Mohammed, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Thank you very much for joining us in the studio. Aarti Jairat, senior journalist. Aarti, you've lost the count, no? How many times we have debated opposition unity, BJP, but we'll keep doing this.
And we'll keep doing this right up to May 2024.
Right up to May 2024. We'll keep doing this. Sanjay Singh is also a senior journalist. In the studio with us is Mr. Jayanto Ghoshal. Thank you so much for joining us. Anila Singh, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We'll have some exclusive interviews also in just a short moment. But let's begin with what we call is the first punch, where each one of our panelists get 1 minute of time for their opening comments. We'll begin with the political panelists first. Shama Mohammed, your opening comments, your time starts now.
So, according to me, what is happening is all these opposition parties have got together to protect this democracy, because as we have seen in the last 9 years, there's serious subversion of democracy. MLAs bought, sold, people are called corrupt, like Ajit Pawar. 2 weeks back, he was corrupt, 70,000 crore, but he is now the Deputy Chief Minister of a Bharatiya Janata Party government. Then we have capture of institutions, we have seen, ED, income tax, ECI, most of these institutions work according to what the government of the day want. Protection of women, we see rapists. Most of the rapists, the government of India or the BJP government standing with rapists. I mean, rape accused. We have seen Ram Rahim out on parole twice this year. He's a convicted rapist as well as a murderer. Let's not forget it. We saw Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh's case, in which for 6 months our athletes had to protest out in the streets. No, women's and joblessness, which we see unemployment, and the other most important thing is price rise. These are the things the opposition is going to, they've come together. This is first time in the history of India that 26 parties have come together, a pre-poll alliance, you know, to fight against what is happening, where there is serious issues in this democracy.
Okay. Ms. Anila Singh, your opening comments.
My Ram to everyone. And just now I was listening to Ms. Sharma, and she said that all these political parties, 26 political parties, they have come together to protect the democracy of this great nation. First of all, their leader, Shri Rahul Gandhi ji, doesn't recognizes this country as a nation. It is his statement, not mine. Secondly, when they say that there is no democracy in the nation, then how they have won elections in Karnataka or the Himachal Pradesh, and how they had formed government in a different state, whether we talk about Chhattisgarh or Rajasthan and etc., where there is non-BJP or non-Congress political parties who are in power. So simply accusing Narendra Modi ji that because of him there is no democracy in our country, that is the biggest lie. They have to give answer what they have to say about the genocide which happened in Kashmir, what they have to say that how Sikhs were slaughtered, what they have to say the dangas or the riots which happened during the UPA, whether we talk about start from this Aligarh, Dhule, the Ganga, Bharatpur, Assam and the Muzaffarnagar riots.
1 minute opening comment time is up. I'll come back to you, Ms. Anila Singh, so that you can elaborate further on what you're saying. Ms. Aditi Fadnis.
Well, I think there's going to be a very interesting situation ahead of us. You have these two behemoth alliances and you have a third group of people who are not aligned to anybody. You also have a set of assembly elections leading up to the 24 Lok Sabha elections, which are also going to set the stage in a way for the Lok Sabha elections. So in those elections, some of those who are not allied to any party are going to be, any coalition are going to be tested, for instance in Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh and other places. And you are going to have a situation where nearly 100 seats, 100 Lok Sabha seats are not aligned to either of the two. So exactly what is going to happen in those seats and how that the voters are going to take a decision on that, I think that is also very, very important.
Okay.
So we have to talk of the third force also.
The third force, and we are going to do that. So one must not see this only as India versus NDA. There is that third force also which needs equal amount of attention, if not more. Mr. Sanjay Singh.
Sanket, these groupings are fine. It's true that 26 parties on an opposition platform have come together for the first time. But remember, there was UPA also. UPA in 2004, part of it was pre-poll and part of that was post-poll. In 2009, there was NDA and you had UPA. Both were alliances, kind of rival alliances. Again, 2019, UPA existed in some form. NDA, of course, was there, and about 24 parties were there with the NDA. What actually matters is not these numbers. Have the ground reality changed since 2019, and how far, if at all, how far and how opposition is going to challenge Mr. Modi in coming elections on issues which actually directly concerns people. Democracy is over. There is no democracy in this country. Modi is a dictator. We have to say people of this country. ED and CBI are government's kind of parrots. Remember case parrot. Supreme Court had said case parrot about CBI. What actually matters when you communicate with people, how much resonance your narrative is going to have with people on the ground. How much delivery quotient you are providing, and people have that kind of faith in leadership in credibility in terms of what leader of respective coalitions can provide. Those things I think are more important for people actually on the ground.
Sure. Mr. Jayanta Ghosh.
My opinion is anti-incumbency is a law of nature. So 2014 and 2024 there is a far cry. Now 2014 we expected James Bond has come after Second World War, like that situation was there. There is a major hype, major expectation. 2019 still opposition was not united. Pulwama was there, Pakistan issue was a major nationalism issue was there. But now for the first time, especially after the Rahul Gandhi's this Padayatra and Karnataka victory, the opposition regional parties also, non-Congress, non-BJP opposition parties also, they have first time perhaps, in 2019 I have not seen this mode. Now they are realizing this is do or die situation. Modi and Amit Shah, this BJP is like a leviathan. If we want to stop this Rath, we have to be maximum unity, maximum I mean seat adjustment, maximum 1:1. That also Nitish Kumar, Mamata Banerjee, they are discussing with Congress also. The problem is, I have some apprehensions because perhaps I am an old man now after 40 years of journalism. I have seen this 77, 89. I have seen in a 5 years tenure 3 prime ministers.
Okay. Aarti Jair.
So, you know, Sanket, elections are a question of arithmetic plus chemistry. The winner is the one who has both arithmetic and chemistry on its side. Okay? At the moment, it looks like the NDA has that. It has arithmetic plus it has chemistry in the form of a predominant leader who is charismatic. I think what the opposition is really hoping for is that given the kind of economic distress that we have seen over the last 5 years and the government's inability to kind of really address the issues on the ground, you know, whether it is food inflation or it is employment or, you know, joblessness, rural distress and so on. What they're hoping is that that will convert into some kind of chemistry, because if you look at the arithmetic and, you know, I mean, there are figures which I'm sure you're going to reel out now, which show that, you know, the BJP had a formidable victory in 2019, where in many places it won more than 50% of the votes. And even if you put the opposition votes together, it doesn't add up to a defeat for the BJP.
Correct.
So the opposition is going to have to produce a chemistry, and that chemistry depends on the narrative it comes up with.
So
So
it
far
cannot
it
be
has
just
not,
arithmetic?
it cannot be just arithmetic. So far the narrative is not imaginative enough, it's not catchy enough.
Even after India?
Even after India, they have, it has to be something which catches the imagination of ordinary
We're gonna
people.
put
And
that
we
to
haven't found that yet.
We said the same thing on the Vajpayee, this chemistry theory, but that didn't succeed.
Okay, I'll come back to you. I also have with me the I.N.D.I.A party member of parliament, Mr. Raghav Chadha. Thank you very much, Mr. Chadha, for joining us. Opposition unity with 26 parties coming together. A point was made right here by one of our panelists. It seems to be a very majboori ka alliance, as the Prime Minister also mentioned. Mazbooti ka alliance nahi hai. This is majboori ka alliance, where people from absolutely binary opposite ideological lines have come together. From Deepankar to the Shiv Sena, from CPI-ML to the Shiv Sena. How does this work, and where will you find your party?
I think if there is one alliance in this country, Sanket, that has been created under compulsion, that alliance is the NDA, which is produced, directed and brought to you by the ED, that is the Enforcement Directorate. That is an alliance of compulsion and coercion. If you were to remove Enforcement Directorate today from the face of this country, I can make this categorical assertion that 37 out of 38 members of the NDA will dump the NDA and move out. That is the hard reality of Indian politics today. In fact, our group or our coming together of different forces, some of them maybe in some electoral battles opposed to one another under the banner India, is an extremely welcome step. People, on the demand of the people of this country, it is the people of this country that want a formidable challenger to the NDA today, and they want to get rid of inflation, unemployment, and they definitely want a departure from the NDA. I in fact draw a correlation between what is happening today in the year 2023 in the run-up to 24 Lok Sabha elections with that of the 1977 general elections. Even at that point in time, there was a mighty regime at the center. People were fed up of that regime,
Chadha, do you think
and
that
people,
right now the
political
circumstances
parties
are of
diametrically opposite to one
1977?
another got together.
Raghav, one moment. Do you feel that right now you
Well,
have
I
a
think-
situation and mobilization like 1977? And do you think another thing that happened with 1977 is that the government did not last very long? Certainly not a full 5-year term. So that is another problem with these coalitions.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Fair. Well, then you had the coalition from 2004 to 2014 that lasted very well, and the coalition didn't break and they completed their full term. The outcome of that alliance is something we can discuss and debate on, with their performance and all that. So I'm notwithstanding anything, no comments on their performance, but they lasted a full decade. See, in the year 77, there was a pent-up anger of the people against the then regime on issues of unemployment, inflation, the emergency that was imposed and thrust upon the people of India, so on and so forth. I think something similar, that anger is something that we see today in the people of this country. And therefore I'm saying that when in 77 political parties that were diametrically opposed to one another and ideologically diametrically opposite to one another, from the Jansanghis to the communists to the socialists, came under one banner, and they fought on roughly 405 seats out of 543, and out of 405 seats that they fought, they won 295. And the Congress lost that election badly. The mighty Indira Gandhi lost that election badly. So I think the alliance of I.N.D.I.A, which we call India, is an alliance which has been created by leaders and political parties that have sacrificed 3 M's. And I keep saying this again and again. They have sacrificed 3 M's. 1, matbhed, second, manbhed, and third is mahatvakanksha. These 3 M's have been sacrificed, and these political parties have come together for the greater good of the country to give a better blueprint for a better India.
But my point is, how soon before you will resurrect these 3 M's? And I draw your attention, Raghav Chadha, to your own party, which had quite a lot of manbhed and matbhed with the Congress party on the issue of the ordinance.
Well, we most certainly requested every single political party in this country to support us on the ordinance. And better late than never, the Congress party finally publicly announced its stand, and they are committed to voting against this legislation whenever it's introduced in Parliament, and we welcome that move. Today, 9 critical allies of the BJP have dumped them. Allies who were participants of the NDA have dumped them, from the JDU to the Shiv Sena to the TDP to the Shiromani Akali Dal. 9 critical allies. Point number 1. Point number 2, the BJP that has for the longest time been harping on this ek akela sab par bhari, the Prime Minister can take on everyone, it's Modi versus all. Today that's not the case. Today they require 37 allies, out of which I guess 24-25 parties do not even have representation in Parliament. They require each one of them. So today the election, which was previously being sold to the people of this country as Modi versus many, has become many versus many, and it's a fight between 2 coalitions.
Okay, but lastly, again, all of the things that you're saying, the various M's that you're using, Raghav, are all going to be put to test in 2024. Thank you so much for joining us on this show. Thank you so much for your views. Shama Mohammed, you see, if you look at statistics, right, I would like to draw your attention to Lok Sabha 2019. The opposition says that you want a one-on-one contest. That means one BJP candidate or NDA candidate and one united opposition candidate, correct? The whole effort is in that direction. Now there were 190 such one-on-one contests between the BJP and the Congress in 2019. The strike rate of the BJP there was 92.1% and the strike rate of the Congress party was 7.9%.
Absolutely.
There are other pieces of data also that I have, but I just want to ask you that if each party pulls their own respective weight, they could have delivered a lot on an existing one-on-one contest. So how is this one-on-one contest going to be any different in 2024 than it was in 2019?
I'll tell you why. First and foremost, it's not 2019, it's 2024.
Yes.
Huge change in those 5 years. After the Karnataka election, organizer is the RSS paper. It said that everybody has to step up. We cannot rely on the Modi brand. That is not what the Congress party said. That is not what Shama Mohammed said. That is the RSS mouthpiece which has said that. So that itself they've understood after the Karnataka loss, where everything was used, muscle power, money power. The other important thing is in 2019, what was the gas price? He had a lot of women voters from the Ujjwala Yojana, around 600 or something. Now it is 1,100, more than that. That will make a huge difference because everything, tomato, 180 rupees. In the last 5 years, we have seen the price of onion go up. 1 year, people couldn't eat onion. The other year, people couldn't eat dal. Now people can't eat tomato. So he talks about yoga and health, but but the basic nutrients we cannot have because they are. Then the 5% GST on all these things which were below 20 kgs. Remember, food, milk, dal, everything. So for the common man, it is really affected. Look at the unemployment. Last December itself, it was 8.5%.
May I ask you something?
No, let me finish. Huge
Ms.
unemployment.
Shama Mohammed, see, all these points were raised by, let's take the example of Uttar Pradesh. In the UP elections, all of this and much more was said about public anger on the ground, palpable amount of anger against the BJP government. And yet we saw their tally come down, but the opposition did not win. So the theory that was spoken about by political pundits is that here is a case where people are angry, but not angry enough to replace or throw out a government.
So that's what. Over there was not a big coalition happening. Now there's a coalition. There are so many. See, here there are parties
There was a
from
coalition
north.
in the opposition.
No, not a complete coalition. They were parties on their own. There was
UP
BSP.
has had coalition between Samajwadi Party and Congress in 2017.
But not in
BSP and
not
no,
in the last
also.
election. I'm talking about last election.
I'm talking about last election.
We
They
didn't have
had
a coalition
alliance with SBSP, which is now part of NDTV.
No, we didn't have a coalition with Samajwadi in the last election.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to do. Samajwadi is coming to this. Huh? That's right what I said. So what I'm trying to tell you is here is a coalition where there is a northern part of India, southern part of India, eastern part of India, western. It's an all-round coalition. And let's understand that one of the biggest scams is this. There is cronyism and electoral bonds. I have a businessman who's told me, couple of them. They said that 98% of electoral bonds go to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now they said that even if you don't give us money, don't give it to them. I mean, they are threatened. Business people are threatened because then they will send the ED. They will tell income tax. Just look at, for an example, he comes out in 2014 saying we are the party with a difference. All right. Now, what is the party with a difference? 2 weeks before Mr. Modi talks against Ajit Pawar, says he's very corrupt. He's involved in
And
a
then
70,000,
enters into an
and then he
alliance.
enters. So
Okay,
what I'm
okay.
saying is
I
that
get the point.
what I'm saying is that if you, and one more last point, look at Manipur. Have you ever seen anything like this in India? More than 2 months, the Prime Minister of India doesn't even say the word M. The Home Minister is still there. Why hasn't he given his resignation? And Biren Singh, the CM says there are 1,000 such cases which is happening. The BJP MLAs in the state say we have lost faith in him. The people of the state say we have. Why is Modi not dismissing him? Because he will lose power there.
Okay. Miss Anila Singh, your quick right to reply to the points.
He doesn't care about more than 150 people have died.
Let me move on.
His problem is I cannot lose a state, Narendra Modi. I don't give a damn about my people. That is Narendra Modi.
Fine.
And remember that.
We have heard the Congress party and their view. I asked them a pointed question on the strike rate when one-on-one contest is being spoken about. Now the thing is, according to Ms. Shama Mohammed, this is the 2019 matrix. 2024 matrix will be different because the opposition will be able to tap into the anger, the people's anger and perception which she spoke about. I want to know your assessment.
All right. You know, initially I heard about that how politics works, and when we talk about the alliance, it is not only the chemistry, it is the arithmetic also. Okay, let us talk about the chemistry. When we talk about the allied partners, so-called allied partners of I.N.D.I.A, because I am not going to call them India. India is our nation, our country, and we love India. So this alliance of I.N.D.I.A, it is like a soda water. You know, when they are together, you shake it up, lots of fizz happens, and then it settles down. So, like today only, I was reading an article published by Derek O'Brien, leader of TMC. He says, बड़े-बड़े ideas आए हैं बेंगलुरु के meeting में. So, what happened in Patna meeting? All right. Somehow he says that in Patna, nothing happened, everything happened in Bengaluru. I don't know what they are going to do in Mumbai. This is the chemistry of these allied partners. Now, I heard Ms. Shama again and again, she was saying, oh, it is not 2019, it is going to be 2024. It is not 2019, it is going to be 2024. Number one, let me tell you, ma'am, recent report is 135 million people have come out of poverty in our nation. And the biggest, you can laugh,
where
because,
where is this
no,
report?
ma'am, I did not interject you, and
Where
I
is
think
this
you should
report?
have
Can
some
you ask him?
decency.
Can
You
you
should
ask
go
him?
and you should go and buck up your knowledge on finance.
There are parameters by the United Nations, and on those, basis of those,
Nation report.
Madam, if you do not have any knowledge about the finance, then you cannot interject me. I am historical
I
wars
think
that
we're
happened
digressing at
when
this
she was
moment.
talking, and she was simply, she was simply accusing my government, my leader. I did not interject her. She should show some decency. If you compare 2014 and 2019 elections, madam, you can laugh because your knowledge is not up to date.
Okay, one moment.
BJP had 282 MPs in 2019. BJP alone had 303. And if we talk about 50% member of parliaments who had won more by the votes of more than 50% in 2014, 138, and 2019, 224. If I start comparing, you will come to know 2019 election strike rate, and in statistics, Bharatiya Janata Party plus allied partners, we performed perfectly.
See, statistics
and
give
one
you
more,
a reflection of the past.
I heard Mr. Jadda, let me tell you. He said,
Very quickly.
this allied, of course, this alliance is going to work against or they're going to work together. Matbhed, Marnabhed, Mahatvakanksha. How they can do it? If we compare NDA versus I.N.D.I.A, the majority of parties in their alliance are from states, and they are regional parties. And with us, there are parties who are small size parties. So is Akhilesh Yadav going to adjust his seats with Congress party? Are they going to do some sort of adjustment in West Bengal? Are they going to do adjustment in
This
Kerala?
is slightly hypothetical, so we'll have to wait and see how that happens.
No,
Let me quickly go to the
because
journalists
in
also.
latest elections,
One by one.
in West
One
Bengal,
by- Jayanto
how they
Ghoshal.
were fighting.
Jayanto Ghoshal. One by- They've been waiting patiently. Jayanto Ghoshal. My question is that data from 2019 shows that in one-on-one contests, which the opposition wants to do right now in 2024, which they believe will give them a better strike rate, in those one-on-one contests on as many as 375 seats, 190 where the BJP and the Congress went head-to-head, and 185 other seats where non-Congress parties went head-to-head with the BJP. In both these cases, the BJP had a strike rate of 70% plus.
Yeah.
So
This is
one-on-one contest,
very important.
Yeah,
This is the the main issue for this unity of this opposition. I am telling you what Mamata Banerjee, Nitish Kumar, Sharad Pawar, and they are talking to Congress leadership. They are trying to evolve a formula that 6 states they have identified also. This Punjab, Delhi, West Bengal, we have discussed these states, Telangana and Bihar, UP. But after this Karnataka election, again the question will arise, the old debate of Pachmari, that coming Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, if Congress do better, the school of thought in Congress that we are pan-Indian party, we cannot leave 6 states to the regional parties. This is as simple as that. Then the number 543 seats, the Congress cannot be the main party to form the government.
Okay.
But if you don't sacrifice, then what you are saying, the arithmetic and what Aarti is saying,
Then you won't have a fighting or a winning chance.
Winning chance.
Okay.
So you have to compromise. So this is the main
What
issue
makes you
now.
think that they are not already doing that? I mean, in subsequent
No.
meetings,
They are trying to do this.
Yeah.
But you know this 7. Just give a small example. 7 seats in Delhi.
Yeah.
Can Shama tell me that how many seats she is ready to give it to Kejriwal?
The Aam Aadmi Party. Well, I mean, that's
And
why
Aam
those
Aadmi-
we-
So-
Am I the one who's negotiating?
No.
That's why
What's going to happen in the next?
No, one moment. I have a statistic on
I am
Delhi.
not- I am
I have a
not-
statistic on Delhi.
I am-
Aarti Jairath,
I am-
you see,
I am your
even
fan.
if
I am
if
not
we go by,
asking
if we
anything
go by
which you
2019,
cannot supposed to. You are
even if
you are
we
a spokesperson.
Jayantudha, one moment. Even if Aarti, we go by the 2019 statistics and assuming Aam Aadmi Party and Congress strike a deal, get seat sharing done, even if they come together in 2019, their vote share combined in Delhi on 7 seats was 40.6%. The BJP was at 56.86. So even if you come together, you don't win.
In 2014, the BJP came in as an agent of change. Narendra Modi was somebody new who had come, with the Gujarat model to offer the whole country. He rode on the back of a very strong anti-corruption movement led by Anna Hazare and ironically Arvind Kejriwal.
Yeah.
And, he swept, okay? First time BJP won a majority government. In 2019, although there were problems because demonetization had happened and so on, but in 2019 there was Pulwama followed by Balakot, and there was a very strong nationalism fervor that swept the country, which again gave the BJP more seats than it had. Today, in 2020, as we head up to 2024, if the opposition doesn't have a clear, imaginative, catchy narrative, even the BJP doesn't have a clear, catchy narrative, imaginative narrative, not yet. Because if you're talking about roads, if you're talking about highways, if you're talking about Vande Bharat train, doesn't it remind you of the Shining India campaign of 2004, which actually sunk the BJP in 2004? Listen, a highway is great if I have a Mercedes-Benz to ride, but if I'm riding a cycle or a mobike, is that big grand highway going to be of any use to me?
You see, something very interesting happened, Mr. Sanjay Singh, this week. The end of the name UPA and adopting a new name called India happened, and on the other hand, in contrast, the BJP celebrated the 25th year of NDA. It's another thing that none of those original allies of the NDA from 1998 are part of this NDA. You've got some obscure parties who do not even have representation in either a Vidhan Sabha or Lok Sabha are part of this alliance. So what, according to you, is the purpose of doing this? What was the purpose? To show numeric strength or something more?
Sanket, in any business that you do, once your brand is not running, then you change name of the brand. It has happened with many brands, including media, right? So, demise of UPA, particularly in presence of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi and a whole lot of Congress leader, where Congress was hosting this particular program, demise of UPA is something to be seen and
what did you say about NDA? None of the original allies, TMC, JDU, SAD,
but still that particular,
in its original form.
The central party to that, the fulcrum to NDA is still there. The BJP is still there.
But it's just that
and the
what?
BJP from its then strength, today it's mightier than what it was.
So then it's not NDA.
Yes, still NDA.
Listen to me, listen to me.
Yeah.
The party which dissociated with the BJP, JDU in 2014 when it was with NDA, and when it came with NDA again in 2019, JDU shrunk to 2 seats. When it came with NDA in 2019, its tally went up from 2 to 17. I don't know what is going to happen in next elections. The point that you are making as to how much appeal and how much magnetic power you have to attract not just political parties in numbers, but people on the ground, how much capacity you have to transfer your votes. Numbers are also fine, but alliances are also fine, but till such time you have capacity to transfer those votes. I'll just give you an example that you are talking about 50% seats. See, in 2019, you had alliance in 3 states, where 1 seat, 1 candidate formula was applicable. In Uttar Pradesh, there was alliance between Samajwadi Party, you talked about Uttar Pradesh, therefore I'm referring to that. Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, unthinkable thing had happened. RLD and Congress, I would say, was a dormant partner because SP and BSP had not fielded candidate in Raebareli and Amethi, and same way they had not fielded candidates in several other constituencies. We know the result. In Karnataka, JDS and Congress government had come together in 2018, and 2019 they fought elections on a coalition plan. We know the result. Third, Maharashtra, NCP and Congress were already there as partners. Shiv Sena was not there. Shiv Sena, of course, this time around, the splintered Shiv Sena is on both sides. We know what happened of results of Maharashtra.
The Shiv Sena split happened, or the transfer from NDA happened after the 2019
After
election.
2019, Nitish Kumar has gone back. He wants to become Prime Minister. That's a different story altogether. Akali Dal went post Punjab farmers agitation. Akali Dal, where does it stand in today in Punjab? That's a different matter altogether. I'm not saying that this does not mean that India has kind of those who have left for their own good. They might do well in 2024. But to say on basis of ground, therefore I'm saying you have to see the realities on the ground.
Ms. Fadnis made a very interesting point, and we are not discussing because the conversation revolves around India and NDA. Why do you feel that these parties which are in neither of these camps are going to hold the key?
Well, I'm not saying they're going to hold the key.
But they'll be significant.
But this is something we know very little about. And also, the numbers when you say one-on-one, 2019, 96% for BJP, 7% for Congress, etc., it sounds really like staggering. But then you have to consider that the NDA is no longer the NDA and the UPA is no longer the UPA. Many of those people who were in the UPA have gone across. Many of those who were in the NDA have come on the other side. So frankly, I mean, one-on-one in a certain situation has some meaning. And then you have to disaggregate. You have to slice and dice that one-on-one. After all, it's not as if in Bihar, JDU brought absolutely nothing to the BJP table in 2019. Equally, the BJP may have lost because it had the burden of lugging the JDU on its shoulders.
Let's take quick closing comments. Shama Mohammed first.
So what I wanted to say, she said a couple of things. One, I just want to say is that why these coalition partners, they are now going in for small parties, 38 of them, and not the big, because the big parties have learned a lesson that if you are an alliance partner with the Bharatiya Janata Party, they finish you off, they break your party, they destroy you, and they play around with you. And the 38 parties, they haven't got 25 out of the 38 parties have no seats in the Lok Sabha. So that is one. Then she spoke about India. And I want to ask her, she knows there's a chief minister of the Bharatiya Janata Party who was saying that it's not India but Bharat. But then they have Stand Up India, Sit Up India, all those India. So they themselves are confused about Bharat and India. The other thing is the Oxfam and the United Nations report said that from 2004 to 2016, we have uplifted, the government of India, that is mainly the UPA, uplifted 27 crore. And after the COVID, that is a report from them, not from anywhere else, and I can show you the report. And after the COVID, 23 crore people went into poverty. The other thing is like petty politics. Why are these coalition partners coming in? Why are these parties coming in? Because they've understood each state. For example, the Annabhagya scheme, which we started out in Karnataka, we were told by the FCI there is food. 34 rupees per kg on the 12th. On 13th, they say, no, we cannot give you, the central government. These are petty politics played. Governor dismissing a minister in Tamil Nadu. So various these issues. The most important issue will be, let me tell you, is the joblessness and the price rise. Because basically, the salaries have not gone up. Let's understand that. But the price of anything, if I'm saying that things are expensive from what I had in 2018 to now with the gas prices, the food prices, and the huge unemployment. I have calls from all over India sometimes, Madam, mujhe job chahiye, kaam chahiye, because they have no employment. And private investment. Private investment is taken out of this country. How much job can the government do?
Okay, unemployment and Mehengai, according to Shama Mohammed, is going to be the big focus, that narrative that you're talking about, that thing that will click with the people. That's something that she has said repeatedly. Jayanto Ghoshal and first you.
I think we should wait to see that what should be the main issue of the campaign for BJP. Intelligently, this opposition, so far, I mean the opposition politics is, this is the name India. Now you have created a milieu that we are the opposition parties, we are giving you the counter narrative of Modi's narrative. What is actually the counter narrative of the Nehruvian model? So we are pluralistic, we are secular. So all this philosophy they want to put in this India basket. But you don't know what will be the main campaign issue of BJP. We have to wait. Opposition should not underestimate Modi also.
Okay.
No,
I don't think they are.
We don't underestimate.
So,
but I am assuming that you would say don't underestimate us also.
Of course, we are.
Very clear.
And look at how we've gone out with parties who we don't get along also, because we believe in India, a pluralistic India.
A lot of parties had a problem with the Congress party saying that we stood with you, we did this we attitude.
Yes.
They had a problem with that.
Yes.
Do you think some of that has now...
Well, I
ended.
think one of the reasons for foregrounding Sonia Gandhi at Bangalore
Yeah.
was precisely that, because Rahul Gandhi has always stood for Ekla Chalo Re, restore the old glory of the Congress party,
yeah.
and so on, and he actually never seemed to be very keen on
He's
alliances
saying
and compromise.
he cannot be the face of united opposition.
No, he cannot. And that is the whole reason why Sonia Gandhi has been pushed forward, because she is traditionally associated with consensus building, with coalition politics. Remember, she ran a very successful coalition.
Because we are leaving this debate on a cliffhanger, we'll have yet another debate when those emotive issues are much clearer, both from the
You are not
opposition.
going to give BJP last word?
Huh?
You gave Shama last
Please,
word.
please.
I think I should get.
Yes.
All right, fine.
But quickly.
When we, of course, when we talk about NDA, NDA is still there. UPA has vanished. Okay, number one. And
In
number
what form
two.
we debate?
Sorry?
In what form does NDA exist? We debate. It's
Our
just
name
one
is
party.
intact. Our name is intact. It has not gone anywhere. And where is UPA? And when RTG, just when you asked RTG that is Rahul Gandhi is going to be the face of this alliance, she said no. And Sharma said, why not? So this shows the clarity, equality, and the involvement.
Okay. That's
Involvement
a
in parliament of the Rahul Gandhi says, I do not want to become the prime minister. Shama says that Rahul Gandhi can be the prime minister. Rahul Gandhi says, I do not want
I
to
think
be
points
prime
have been
minister.
made.
This shows
One more. Order, please.
Nitish Kumar,
Order, please. Ms.
everybody,
Anila
they
Singh.
want to be the prime
I think your
minister
point has
face.
been made. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We will have another debate once those emotive issues of this big election driving narrative is also out. For the moment, India, NDA and WO, that is the third force which Aditi Fadnis spoke about. What will happen? We will know. There are about 9 odd months left. Stopping for a short break on the big fight, but more exclusive interviews up next. Welcome back. So the opposition has a new name, but is that enough to beat the NDA, which is an old name? It's another thing that it's only BJP which is a predominant player, and there are other small, very small parties also, some that do not have representation also. Let me ask this question of Mr. Prakash Javadekar, tall leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Javadekar, do you fear that the BJP's version of the NDA, you may be celebrating 25 years of its existence, but this is not the same NDA. This is not the NDA of 1998.
See, this always happens in any kind of combinations. The idea remains the same. Those who agree join, those who don't agree, they leave. And this is a natural process because it is not one party. It is the combination of various parties. They have their ideology, they have their program, but there is common platform and there is common purpose for which people join. And sometimes if that or something happens in their party, they go out. So that is not the issue. Issue is why NDA succeeded and why efforts of opposition parties are not going to succeed. Let us see. First is that you have to be complementing each other. In West Bengal, how they will complement each other? They are at quarrel and there only Mamata Banerjee is powerful. But Communist and Congress have also big stakes in that state. And they can't have a complementary nature. They can't adjust. And therefore it's impossible. In Punjab, Congress and Aam Aadmi Party are the main rivals. Delhi also, though we are winning all the 7 and this time also will all the 7 parliament seats, but Congress is also a force. But how they will adjust? I don't know. Because why Aam Aadmi Party will give 2 or 3 seats to Congress? I don't see this happening. So there is no complementation part. We must be able to be useful to other parties. and other parties must be useful to us in the area where we are not strong. Then only alliances mature, the work, and that is the reason, complementary. So that complementation is not there in the opposition ranks, and therefore, in Kerala, how they will come together? They are the main two rivals.
I'm sure you remember the very famous speech in Parliament of Mr. Pramod Mahajan, where he highlighted all the various contradictions of Indian democracy in Parliament, where he said
that was about democracy. That was not about NDA. Where he said, and he narrated the incidents in China.
You remember what incident I'm talking about, no?
Yes, about when they visited the China as a delegation under the leadership of Omar Khalaf, who was the law minister that time.
Yeah.
So he described it that Chinese asked us, introduce yourself. So Pramod Mahajan said, I am Pramod Mahajan. I represent BJP, the largest party in the parliament. Then the other parties also, people, representatives, they said, he is number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. And then it was Khalaf. I am the leader of this delegation and I am alone. I don't know, we are not only minority, I am alone in the parliament of 540.
Yeah.
So,
and I am in the government.
This was contradiction of democratic.
Yeah, but my point is that has happened. India has seen this in the past. The point that Pramod Mahajan was making.
But they did not contest election that time also as a united front. They fought it separately and later they came together.
Okay.
So there is a basic difference. Pre-poll alliance, you require to be complementing each other. And you must have some influence in other areas where the other party gets benefit and other party must have influence in your area where you benefit.
So
but this is not the case.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Javadekar. Now, it will be interesting to see how these contradictions will be managed by the erstwhile UPA, now known as I.N.D.I.A. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Javadekar.
Thank you.
We have with us former finance minister and tall leader of the Congress party, Mr. P. Chidambaram. Thank you very much, Mr. Chidambaram, for joining us. You see, there was one reservation that was raised by members of the BJP. They said that the fact that you have had to come to an arrangement with a new name means that you yourself lost faith in the United Progressive Alliance, the name as well as what it did.
It's a desperate argument. The UPA had a certain number of allies. Now, if the new alliance is much wider, much larger, and new parties have joined the alliance, it is but natural that there will be a new name. For example, in 1996, we had a coalition called United Front. In 2004, we had a coalition called United Progressive Alliance. So I don't think anything turns on the fact that we have coined a new name.
You think, Mr. Chidambaram, that there will be conversation around juxtaposing two images? One is that a UPA ended to create a new alliance, juxtaposed with the fact that the NDA is celebrating 25 years of its existence. I mean, it's another thing that many of the erstwhile NDA alliance partners are now in I.N.D.I.A.
Well, the NDA could expand even to 100 parties. The alleged 36 parties, many of them have no representation in Parliament. Many of them may have only one member. What stops them from expanding their alliance even to unregistered political parties? The number doesn't matter. What matters is the quality of the party, its footprint, and the leadership of the party.
You see, the opposition, much of what the opposition wants to do is a one-on-one contest. That is, for one BJP or NDA candidate, there should be a united opposition candidate, right? So that there is no split of votes. Now, if you look at the results of 2019, and I have some data right here, on 190 seats, there was a direct one-on-one contest between the Congress and the BJP. The strike rate of the BJP there on these one-on-one contests was 92% and the Congress's was 8%. So if the purpose is a one-on-one contest, then 2019 does not paint a very rosy picture for particularly your party.
We are not repeating an election of 2019. The BJP of 2019 is not the BJP of 2024, nor is the Congress of 2019 the Congress of 2024. If you freeze the voting percentages and the victories in a particular year, like you have chosen 2019, if you freeze it, which means the BJP can never be defeated in this country. For the rest of your life and your children's life, the BJP will rule the country. That's not how electoral politics works. Incumbent governments are thrown out. New governments take office. New parties take office. Therefore, don't go by the numbers of one election. They change dramatically from election to election.
What is going to be that one agenda setting narrative of I.N.D.I.A. which you hope will capture the imagination of the people?
It will happen. The next meeting is in Mumbai. Now that we have finalized the name and the decision to have an executive committee and a secretariat, the next step will be logically and naturally, the next step will be to decide upon the content of the program that the allies will project to the people. And then there will be another step and another step. Eventually, there will be a manifesto. Therefore, I don't think everything can be stitched together in one meeting. Clearly, the buzz is that we have made significant progress in Patna. We have made significant progress between Patna and Bengaluru, and you will find that there is significant, notable progress before we reach Mumbai and thereafter. Therefore, there will be a narrative which will be built and told to the people.
All right, Mr. Chidambaram, many thanks for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.